Connecting.
Hello.
Connecting. Firing up Overwatch.
Battle.net.
Wow. We got a subscription from Marco. Thank you, Marco. That's what I'm talking about.
Hello, everybody. I'm doing family dinner in the flesh today. I'm over at Andrew's I'm watching the Overwatcher.
Yeah. We're sitting in chairs hilariously close to each other because we have short cables.
You could have just left it. We're sitting in chairs, I think.
No, it's funnier to paint this picture. Oh, I got to change these settings.
This is going to be distracting for me, honestly, because I never actually watch you playing.
Well, that's fine. You can just close your eyes.
Yeah.
For the next hour and a half.
I'll focus on the chat. We are not sharing a mic. We have two mics. But we're going through the same account. So same interface.
Same interface and same Discord account. That's how we're talking to Seth and Ethan. Seth, you're also in a different place today, huh?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel now.
You're in a hotel. That's great. You're visiting family, right?
Yeah, visiting the grandparents.
Cool. Nice. Very fun. Very fun. Ethan, I'm assuming you're at home.
I'm in the same place. I'm at home.
Ethan's gaming too.
Yeah, the new Quake. There's a new Quake level that came out today, so I'm exploring that.
You should have OBS running too, and you could do an alternate stream.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So today's episode is titled Home Videos.
With a question mark.
Because, yeah, maybe. But
we didn't actually decide on... this is the first we've done without a movie that we all were supposed to watch. We've never actually done one where we all watched a movie. But we were all at least supposed to watch one before this one. And this time we just... Andrew said he had some funny home videos that he had watched. And
yeah.
So we said we would all watch home videos, but then I don't think any of us
No one else did.
Him.
I was at home over Thanksgiving break, and the family whipped out some old classics of mine, one of which was me playing Napoleon Dynamite in a high school Spanish video, which I think is my best acting ever. I nailed Napoleon Dynamite. Just picture me dancing.
Napoleon?
I was Napoleon. Nailed it. And it was really funny because how we set up all the scenes is because none of us were very good at Spanish, and for sure couldn't remember lines. Like, there's no way I could barely remember lines in English. And so we set up each scene in funny ways where there was always a piece of paper somewhere that was being read. And it's like, I think at the time we thought we were being sneaky, but
right.
Like rewatching it, it's so obvious in every scene where the piece of paper is.
When you probably weren't supposed to be doing that for the assignment.
I don't think it mattered. No, I think we just artistically wanted that. But it was really funny. Luckily, there's a scene in it where I think Pedro and Napoleon both give a speech where they're like standing at a podium. So luckily, you could just put the piece of paper on the podium, and like both of these characters like look at their feet a lot, anyways. But yeah, it was a great video. Also, another video in a history class of me. A lot of these were in high school, actually, of me doing some like Wild Wild West video. Much, much worse acting. And then a very strange family heirloom video of when I was like 10 years old. My sisters did a remake of the movie called Night of the Demons. I think it was Night of the Demons 2. Have you guys ever seen or heard of that horror movie?
No.
I feel like I've heard of it.
It's like it's like a C-level horror movie where it's demons that are like, like taking over humans and turning them into demons, but the way that they do it is not like biting them or whatever. They have to have sex with them. And so it's all these scenes of these really fucking funny ways that these high schoolers are like getting fucked by these demons. And like one of the scenes is like this girl is like putting lipstick on. She's like the hot, like cute cheerleader or whatever, popular girl putting her lipstick on at a party, and the lipstick is like a demon, and it's like this little sausage that comes out of the lipstick container and like crawls up her shorts and like has sex with her somehow, and she turns into a demon and then comes out, and her like jock boyfriend's out on the dance floor, and he's like, dance with me, babe, or whatever, and she just like lifts her like shirt up to show her boobs, and the guy's like, oh hell yeah, like really like not the reaction you'd have normally. He was like way too into it. But her boobs were little hands instead of boobs. And the hands like grab his face and like kill him, and he turns into a demon. It's just like a crazy, crazy horror movie. But my sisters, they're very vulgar people, and they have really strange sense of humor. And so they loved this movie, and they recreated it when I was gone. I was like out with some friends. And I come home, and they're like, Andrew, you have to watch this movie that we made.
You weren't in it.
I wasn't in it, no. But it's like, it's so unbelievable. They filmed this video. It's my two sisters and all their friends filming this video. And they're playing all the parts, like men and women. Mm-hmm. And this one scene, there's like a sex scene. And so it's my sister, one of my sisters dressed up as a demon, and the other one dressed up as like a cheerleader on my bed. And they're like reenacting a sex scene. And I remember to this day, when I got home, I was so pissed. I was so mad that they did that on my bed. And like, it's just like became kind of this like family joke, this video, first of all, and how mad it made me. And so like, we always rewatch it. And
how
it's
aware were your parents of all this?
Oh, they knew. My parents were super chill. They didn't give a shit about any of that stuff. Yeah, when we were at Thanksgiving, my mom was right there, and she was laughing her ass off.
But like at the time, did they see it?
Oh, I'm sure they liked it a lot less at the time. But yeah, I mean, they definitely knew about it. Like, yeah, my sisters were crazy.
Yeah, you got a creative family.
I mean, granted, it was a funny video. It's just like really hard to watch your sisters hump on your childhood bed. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Was this for school or anything?
No. They were just making movies for fun.
That was for their Spanish class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to say the whole thing was in Spanish. And they did it for school. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they both got expelled, actually.
I don't know if I really didn't recreate too much, but I made a lot of videos in high school. I was the camera guy. I would carry around. Like this was before everyone had a smartphone, so I did not have a smartphone.
Yeah.
And I had like a separate little camcorder thing that would take photos too. And I just always had it out. And my friends got so mad at me.
I remember you saying that they were super pissed that you were filming them.
Yeah, because I mean they like, they're it's just kind of like high school. Like you get insecure about stuff, and then like you're trying to be just like casual, and then suddenly someone's pointing a camera at you.
Yeah, friends don't film friends kind of thing.
Yeah, but then in retrospect, they were like, "I'm really glad you filmed all that."
Always,
it's just like, because I would try to get like, off the cuff conversations and stuff that they didn't necessarily want filmed, but that I just thought were amusing at the time. So it's just like a lot of us arguing.
But I bet they love to watch them. Like rewatching that stuff is fun.
Yeah, they were glad afterwards.
Like even if you're saying weird and cringy shit, like when you get a little older and you're less embarrassed about it, it's like interesting. Like from a
I mean, I don't even think that we were cringy. We were just.
I mean, you must have been. There's no way like high schoolers aren't a little cringy.
We were just really stupid. I think we would just argue about absolutely nothing.
Like what? What would you argue about?
There's one where we got into this big argument about what time a movie would start. So, like, I was saying that if you go to a theater, the previews start at the announced time. And my friend Mike was really insistent that no, that was the time that the actual movie started.
No, how do they do it? Did you guys come to a conclusion?
Well,
it wasn't what time
we were about to
should
go
start,
see a
it was just
movie,
what time
and
it
we're
does start.
arguing about what time to go to go see it. And I think maybe my point was actually that the movies start a little later, like the previews start a little later than the advertised time, and he really thought that they just started right on time. But I was right in that case.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We made a whole video series about it, and there was like a bet involved.
Oh, that's hilarious. And you filmed him losing? That's good.
Exactly, yeah.
He's just
like,
so
that
mad.
That was the sort of shit that we would do.
You lose a bet and you're also on camera.
Right.
Oh my god! If all of the bets that I've lost were on camera, I'd be so pissed too. I get what he means.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my buddy Mikey one time bet me like I don't even remember what it was. It was so stupid. It was the dumbest thing ever. We were in high school and we were playing a lot of Smash Brothers. Like it must have been maybe it was either late high school or early college when the like third Smash came out, not the Melee one, but the one on Wii or whatever. And there was this like ultimate move that Star Fox could use. It's when they introduced that dumb Smash Ball thing, and Star Fox like rode around in some like tank or something. That I think I'm remembering that right. And I remember like playing with him, and I couldn't figure out how to turn the tank around. I was like, this ultimate sucks. Like you can't even turn the tank around. He's like, yes you can. I'm like, what? No, you can't. How do you do it? He's like, you just push the other direction. And so I did, and I was like, no, want to bet? He's like, yeah, I'll bet you $10. I'm like, okay, yeah, look. And I pushed it, and he goes, no, watch. And he pushes it twice in that direction. It turns around, and like technically I lost the bet. If that bet, that entire interaction had been filmed, I'd be so mad. Because I was so pissed at him. And like, I'm a man of honor, so I paid him, but like, I wanted to murder him.
Yeah. Those are the sort of things that you'd, if it's a matter of pride, you don't necessarily want it preserved for all time.
You really don't.
Post it on Facebook.
Absolutely not. No, I remember deleting a home video one time because I was so embarrassed by it. It was this video of me and my buddy Eliav and a couple of our other friends. We sort of started this like drum corps-ish thing at our high school. And so like in our band, we had like the normal orchestra, but then we would do some sort of like drum like ensemble thing before the shows for the parents. It was like the cool, like hip drummer kids. And we had this show where it was like cool. It was a cool thing. Like we got blindfolded at one point. It was like kind of a production. And we fucked up one time. Like we were performing in front of an entire auditorium. And like we fucked up so bad that we had to restart the song. And like, just one of those terribly embarrassing moments. And I think we handled it pretty well, but my parents filmed it. And I remember when I got home, I was so embarrassed. I took the camcorder and just deleted it without even thinking. And now, as an adult, I'm like, damn, dude, I really wish I hadn't done that. I would have been super interested to see what that performance was like.
The world is lost on the pride of teens.
Ooh, wow, that's prophetic. Yeah, I feel like nuclear technology was invented like the 1800s, but the teens that did it.
A mad teen deleted it. Don't show anybody this.
Please don't.
It's really embarrassing that I spent this time learning about nuclear physics, and I could have just been getting Cindy to like me.
Oh man, Cindy, nuclear
She's
babe.
Not gonna go for.
I want to hear
physics.
like an oldies like Phil Spector pop song about I spent all my time learning about quantum mechanics, and it's like the guy regretting that he spent all his time on this shit instead of like getting Cindy to like him.
Well, yeah, I mean Phil Spector wrote that song and then he was like, I can never play this because it's too embarrassing.
Right. Deleted it as a teen.
Deleted as a teen.
Ethan, can you turn your mic up a bit or put it a bit closer? I feel like you're kind of quiet.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh,
How's this?
Yeah,
That's better.
That's good.
You got
Nice.
any high school vids?
No vids from high school. I do remember my family used to videotape my brother and I when I was, let's see, when we were both like really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
We used to stage wrestling matches. We would get like a big mattress on the floor in the living room and throw that on the floor as like a
That's cool.
ring. And my brother and I would do like mock wrestling matches, and my dad would videotape them. And my dad would play like the role of the announcer who has to come up with like intimidating titles for both of the
That's good.
wrestlers. And so he would be like, in this corner, the terrible menace, Johnny, whatever, Johnny Inferno or whatever. He's gonna fuck you up and whatever. Or he would say that. But
Was the name really Johnny Inferno? Whatever.
no, it was just
whatever.
it was just like it was just some shit,
I really
like
wish he would have
some-
said it like that.
I wish she had said, "It'll fuck you up." My brother is like 5. But no, we would do these like mock wrestling matches where we would like throw each other around, and my dad
Yeah.
would do color commentary, and they were pretty funny.
Yeah, I used to be super into like jumping around on mats and stuff, just like throwing myself onto mats and somersaulting around. But yeah, my family never filmed it. They just laughed at me.
Always.
I used to do that, but I would always do it to the song "Step in Time" from Mary Poppins, because that song just got me
Interesting.
so jazzed up. I would like want to just like fucking hop around whenever that song came on.
Oh, there you go.
I'd be like,
It really makes me think about like how technology's changed that landscape for kids that were born in like, kids that are like 15 now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's always had an iPhone, right? Since they were a kid.
Right.
Everyone has always had the capability to film nonstop. Like the amount of videos for that generation that are going to come out is going to be crazy. Like you're going to have so much of your life on film as opposed to us. We just have this handful of videos from when we were a kid, right? And like, is it good? Is it bad? I feel like if I was in high school and everything I was doing, or like middle school, all the dumb shit I was doing was on TikTok, I would be fucked. Like I would be able to get a job. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of strange to think about that these kids' lives are just all over the internet.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the landscape, but I mean if it's something that is happening to everybody, then it's just a landscape that adjusts.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're like an extra shitty kid, you're in trouble.
Isn't that a good thing?
Well, yeah,
well,
in the moment, but like people change, Like I bet the shitty kids can become great adults. You know what I mean? And they might just be fucked.
You're fucked because like McDonald's is like, look at what you did when you're 8 years old. We were going to make you CEO, but good luck with that.
Yeah, you were gonna be CEO, and then they see you shooting bottle rockets out of your asshole in the woods. Like I literally have done that, but thank God it's not on camera.
I'm just picturing a situation. I'm just picturing a situation where.
Oh God!
It wasn't on the internet though.
No, it wasn't on the internet.
Well,
thank
that's
God.
the thing is that if you do something like that and put it on the internet, you're probably going to get in trouble in the present tense. It's not like going to come back and bite you on the ass later, because if you're 12 and do something like that and everybody knows about that, then your parents are going to,
That's true.
They're going to be the ones who cancel you and not your future employer.
Yeah, we were having a lot of fun with bottle rockets. That's for sure. God, the kids will never know. We had to hold like a camcorder. We had to hold like a fucking thing.
And like editing was so hard back then.
Well, yeah,
like,
you didn't edit. You just hit play and then stop, and then that was your take. And then if you fucked it up, you could like try to rewind and film over it.
I mean,
this is so hard.
I feel like most phone apps are set up in a pretty similar way as far as you either retake it or you move on.
I guess that's true. TikTok is a little better. Their video editing is kind of cool. I respect it.
But I think that they intentionally do it so that the controls are very simple and limited. So it is.
Yeah.
There's still that kind of charm where you have to roll with what you get.
Right. And it's like more accessible for people that aren't like good at editing videos and shit,
Yeah, but I mean, like, like you don't have to be good at editing to make a good TikTok.
Totally. Well,
I'm just picturing a situation where you get interviewed for McDonald's and they're like, well, your resume looks great. We were going to hire you for this position, but then something came out that caused us to reconsider. And it's just, they just put in a VHS tape of you as like a 3-year-old with like poop all over you. And you're just like, I hate McDonald's. They're like, you can't say it. Yeah. Well, it's like, you're just like a shitty kid and they catch you saying like, McDonald's is poop, and they're like, we can't tolerate that kind of you can't say that shit about McDonald's and get a job here. I'm sorry.
No.
Seth, any videos?
For me, it was mostly like school projects. Like I remember one where we did like a medieval like weapons project where we just filmed ourselves like hitting each other with like handmade flails and like
Nice.
lances and stuff.
You're just slaughtering each other.
Well, it's just like, like when you're that young, you just want to have an excuse to like,
Yeah, totally.
mess around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that stuff when I was a kid.
But yeah, like with the whole VHS camcorder, like we had to leave all the outtakes in because we couldn't like delete them. So it just ended up pretty funny that like everyone in the class would see us like mess up a line and like have to redo it.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. Actually, we have done that on Instagram, where we just
Totally.
left in outtakes.
I mean, that's some of the best videos are like that.
Yeah.
It's the
I think we
overthought ones
did,
that suck.
I think we did like the Canterbury Tales too in high school. And that was like a similar thing where like we did it all on this one like old format. I forgot what it was, but like we realized at the very end that our teacher wouldn't accept that format and we couldn't like, use the program to like exchange it or like export it or whatever. So we had to like redo the whole project the night before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You'd think the teacher would have accepted. I don't know what.
Yeah. I don't know why that was the case, but
Yeah, that's weird because like, you were what year? You were young, 1 year ahead of me.
yeah.
'Cause
So I think I was in like 9th grade or something.
I don't know. I remember doing video projects, and it wasn't a huge problem. Actually, I do remember one where we just straight up couldn't get it to play during class. So like I think, yeah, and then it's something really stupid, like it was a cassette and we'd forgotten to rewind it or something. But,
Wait, you played the video in front of the class and it just didn't work, and then you guys just sat down?
Yeah, well, I think it was like a video and a cassette that we were doing at the same time, and we like I worked pretty hard on making that song. It was for a Shakespeare play. We had to.
You made like a rock song for a Shakespeare play?
I had actually just gotten an acoustic guitar, and that was the first song I wrote for acoustic guitar. And Leo was on it, and he played mandolin, I think.
Huh.
But we just recorded it onto cassette, and then I think we couldn't figure out the actual tape player. But somehow the teacher heard it. Like, I think we presented it in 2 different classes because we weren't in the same class together. So she heard it at one point, and we got an A. But I think when I went to present, I did not actually get to present it.
Oh. It's too bad. Tech, man.
You know, that's definitely exactly the same, where just like teachers and students just don't know how to use the high tech.
Oh my God, I know. But I thrived on that because like no one else was able to use like the computers in class. Yeah. And so like I was the one that knew how to do it. And so like all my projects were dope as hell. Everyone else's sucked. Like I would
but you never want to out yourself as the person that knows, like, once you're the guy that knows how the computer works, like that's your burden for the rest of your life.
Oh no, definitely not. If people ever ask me, I would just say no, absolutely not. I'm the guy. I'm doing it. You want to be the guy? Earn it. You know what I mean?
I mean, people will. It's like once people know that you know how to like reformat a drive or whatever. Like,
yeah,
they will ask you.
Man. Like,
they'll ask you to do that for the rest of your life.
No, not for me, man.
No, you just be like, I just forgot.
I would always bring in because you were able to rent old. I don't know if these kids are even gonna know what I'm talking about. You could rent like an old projector on like a cart, and it was like the projectors that used like see-through slides, right? And you could rent those, and then you could also rent like a cart with a little laptop on it. And so I would always do these whenever I would do like a speech or something. I'd always like add a little twist to it. So I'd have like a PowerPoint going in the background with my computer on a slide, and like I was always into like making the speech a little more interesting because I got a little nervous, talking in front of a class or whatever. And so I was like, well, it'll make me relax too. And so I'd bring in like a PowerPoint, and I'd always bring in some sort of like some sort of tangible thing. Like one time I was doing some dumb project where I had to present on like tariffs and like what a tariff is and like on imported goods. And I remember I like went and rented this thing, made a PowerPoint slide about tariffs that was like pretty comical, and then brought in the most awful seaweed, like dried seaweed I could find, because the tariffs were about seaweed or something. And I was like, I handed out a piece of this disgusting
Where was
seaweed.
there a tariff on seaweed?
Maybe it wasn't even on seaweed. Maybe I just made that up, but it was something about tariffs. And I was like using it as an analogy. Like, imagine you just spent an extra tax on this.
Right.
And I handed it out to everybody, including the teacher. And then I told everyone to eat it at the same time while I was giving my speech. And everyone was just going, and then I finished my speech while everyone was spitting out seaweed. It was good.
So did that have anything to do with the overhead projector?
Well, yeah, I had my little tariff
Okay.
PowerPoint on there. And this is before, all these kids listening to this, they don't know how to use PowerPoint.
This is a real 4D presentation.
Yeah, this was like, no one was doing this. I invented PowerPoint. No one was doing that.
Well, this is beyond PowerPoint because it involves
this is every sense, every single sense. No one was doing
Yes.
it.
Speaking of PowerPoint, like I remember me and my friends would always try to do like, we would try to have like an inside joke with like the animation like within PowerPoint and like have it as long as possible without like the teacher or whatever like getting mad. So it would be like 10-second animations like between slides.
Because you had to fill time. Is that why?
Yeah, we just had to fill time, and it was just like funny. Like it was just funny because you could like animate anything within PowerPoint, but like, and they would still be like slightly impressed with like it's like it's moving.
Yeah,
But, like, it would go on like way too long.
Exactly, and they're just like, wow, this is he's so talented. Like, look at that animation. Little they know you're just like gaming the system.
Welcome to YouTuber 2020.
What's that?
I mean, that's what
Just
YouTubers
filling time
do
with
now.
bullshit.
Like,
Yeah.
they have a 20-minute video. And
I
there's
thought
only 2
YouTubers
minutes
just
of
wrote
content.
algorithms to make baby videos.
Like
that
They
thing
do that
YouTube
too.
is sending us.
YouTubers, but I'm talking about the ones who put together like a really glossy video, but there's just like no content in it because it's all just editing.
Oh, we should do that.
You can if you want.
My heyday's gone. I was a cart guy. I was a cart projector guy.
Was anyone else in Odyssey of the Mind?
What's that?
That was a program that went, I guess, from elementary school probably through high school.
What?
And
Odyssey.
it's just like an extracurricular thing, and it'd be you and like five or six other students, but like hopefully you'd get like a friend group together, and it'd just be like something that you're working on through the school year, and you can choose whether it's like a crafty thing, whether it's artsy or drama, and there's just like some prompt that you have to follow, and then you go to like regional competition and you present.
Wait, what? Is this like a Virginia only thing? I've never heard of that in my life.
I've never heard of it.
Anybody in the chat? I think a Northern Virginia thing.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was worldwide, but I thought it was a real Odyssey of the Mind.
Well, they told you the competition was worldwide, and then you went to like some cafeteria.
Yeah, no, because there was a world competition. Because it's like you get regionals, and then if you win regionals, you go to state, and then I swear after state, there's something beyond that.
That's just what they told you.
I think they just tell you that.
Yeah.
But we did win. I think we won regionals once, and
so what were you presenting? I don't really get it.
What's the same sort of stuff as like a creative school assignment would be? So like one year we were doing a creative adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
Like you had to act it.
Yeah, we had to act it.
Is that on film?
No, unfortunately, I don't think there is a copy of that.
Wow. Can't believe the people putting it on didn't film it.
I think it was filmed, but maybe it just didn't get saved, or maybe it's just not on Facebook or something.
Gotcha.
Who
Who did you play in the play?
Who was I? I think, why can't I remember my own part? I think I wasn't the priest. This is really weird. I remember.
Were you Romeo?
Everyone else. No, I wasn't Romeo. I remember everyone else's part in that, but I don't remember.
That's the only other character I remember.
Romeo, Juliet, priest, nurse. And then one of our crew really didn't like acting, so she was just the dagger that kills either Romeo or Juliet at the end of the play.
What do you mean she was the dagger? What are you
Like she
talking
wore
about?
a giant knife costume and just like ran across the stage and stabbed Juliet.
She didn't jump off like a ladder and body slam her or anything like that?
No, I think
Oh,
she just
that's
kind
too
of
bad.
strolled across. It was a good play.
Sounds like she didn't really put in that much work.
We all put in the work.
Well, what did she do? She was just a knife.
Well, yeah, she was. I mean, most of the work was not acting; it was putting together the play. Like there were certain.
I see.
There were certain like rules that it had to follow, and I forget. Like it was, it was a challenge to put together.
Gotcha. So is it all like? Is this competition all like theater arts, or was there like a bunch of different categories that you competed in?
There were like 6 different categories, so that was probably drama, and then I remember there was like sort of like a building or crafts one, which
like maybe a science.
I
one or
never would
something.
have wanted to do. Yeah, science and
But you
was
guys
there a
wouldn't have
prize?
competed.
only like if you if you
I'm gonna
got
be your
through
turret's
regionals.
personal bodyguard, Torbjorn.
Oops.
Excuse me.
That's this
We
guy in
got,
this game.
we got
I gotta get out
audio.
of team chat.
We got game audio again.
I like how every like hour that we do this, somebody says something dumb in the
It
chat.
takes a really long time.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any prize other than graduating to the next level if you got chosen. But we only graduated up once one of the years we did it.
That's super extracurricular. I can't believe you did that. I would have
it's
never done
kind of-
something like that.
I guess my parents wanted me to do it, but I don't remember the process that led to me doing it. I just remember, I guess it was one of those like, oh, it'll look good on your future
Yeah.
portfolio, or
And it's a good
Yeah,
experience. Like,
like-
I from a standpoint where I'm at now, like it makes sense. You
Yeah.
probably learned a lot of skills, but like as a
Uh,
kid, I'm like, no way am I doing that.
yeah, it was good because our like there's a parent instructor who's always supervising, and ours was really good. Like
Nice.
she was the mom of the guy who played Romeo, and she was like actually active and like trying to help us make it better.
Did anyone ever call her Romeo's mom?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we all knew each other, like we were friends outside
Gotcha.
of the project.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
But yeah, I guess Northern Virginia, I think, just had a lot of that sort of stuff. Like we had a program called Futura, which was like, if you got tested and if you were in the top percentage, you'd get sent to this other school like once a week, and they'd give you all these incredibly difficult assignments, and they'd make you like build a space station or run a space station, and like I dropped out because it was way too fucking stressful. And,
Like, because there was like a lot of like math and shit. Like, what?
it's just like I didn't understand any of the assignments that we were being given. Yeah, it's like
They're
and
like, Will, get on the spaceship. You're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
that was pretty much it. And it's like they take you out of class, so then you're not learning what the other
That sounds like my
students are.
dream. That's like a dream program.
Well, you're getting taken out of class to do a harder class, that which no one is enjoying. Like,
So it wasn't like fun stuff. Like they'd put you on a
see,
trampoline and
then
you'd bounce
like
around.
then you in middle school, it's like there was a different program called Spectrum, and that was a fun one. That's just like you play like 24, and you do like fun projects that you can actually wrap
What's
your brain
24?
around. It looks like a card game where you get 4 numbers, and you have to either add or subtract or multiply or divide to get to 24. So it's like that kind of stuff, like brain puzzlers or
Yeah.
whatever.
We like those.
That was fun, and Futura was not fun. Futura was miserable, and so I dropped out.
Yeah, I think I would have liked Futura. I think that would have been for me.
Well, I guess go back.
I love planes.
Go
and
to
stuff.
Northern Virginia
and
and just
space.
hop in with the elementary schoolers.
Dude, these are elementary kids.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the problem. They're too young.
I was in 3rd grade trying to figure out how to pilot a space station.
Like crying at the helm.
It didn't-
Please, I don't want to
Yeah,
drive this. Please.
It did not get to the point where I was crying because I dropped out. Luckily, I'm
That's good.
sure there were some tears when it actually happened.
Yeah, I bet a lot of kids probably cried. They're like screaming at you, like if you don't hit this button at the correct time, this will explode. The entire space station will explode, and all your friends are dead.
Yeah,
They're just listing like the billions of dollars of taxpayer money that are just gonna go up in smoke if
you're
little
losing
Timmy doesn't.
$1.8 billion every minute that you're up there. So just
Is that what you want, Timmy? Is that what you want?
I kind of like that. I'm liking this program more and more the more we talk about it.
Right? I mean, that's what it'll look like if it's still running now. And it's like you're using $700,000 worth of fuel every second you're in the air. Jeff Bezos wants a ride, and he's going to sue NASA if he doesn't get the contract. So just
Classic.
What are you
Bezos.
gonna do?
He did that, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did.
He absolutely. No, that was yeah, it was Jeff Bezos. That was his company.
Yeah, they gave it to somebody else and he sued.
NASA.
Gotta be fun to be that
hero.
rich. You're just like so rich. You're just like when you get mad, you just like make someone pay millions of dollars.
You just slam the sue button.
It'd be so nice. Though honestly, that practice should be abolished.
Yeah, it absolutely should.
Well, on
All
that
right.
note, I guess this is where the question mark part of the podcast comes into play, where it's like, okay, well, we talked about home videos. Now we talk about abolishing lawsuits.
Well, I can talk about I don't know about the rest of you. I watched a ton of shit in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Because I was visiting a friend, and we had cable. We were at an Airbnb, and we had cable, and I haven't watched cable in like 15 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah, cable sucks.
I really like it. I like not having a lot of control over what I watch, and having commercials come on every 10 minutes or so.
You like having commercials come on every 10 minutes? That can't be right.
Yeah, I think I do. It's just
What?
like for me, that's more of a social environment, whereas like, I don't know, selecting what you watch and then just watching it, it's like I'm more aware that what I'm selecting is pretty bad. Whereas if it's just on a channel and it's like crammed with commercials already, it doesn't matter if it's bad.
Oh, that's why you got to try the random button on Netflix. It's a great feature.
Right. And then I get 10 minutes into it and I'm like, this sucks. And then what do I do? Right? I just hit random again.
What they should really do is have a surf feature where it starts you in a movie at like a random point.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like the beginning. So the surf feature would be like TV, but it would have no ads. And so you just click next channel and it just takes you to a movie at like 40 minutes.
Yeah. They could have like video DJs. So like someone's just selecting weird stuff that they want you to watch and you can just tune in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Netflix.
I want to have an option for Netflix to play movies, but in a TV mode where they're still editing all of the swears,
right?
And all the everything as if it were on like the Hallmark Channel, and so they're doing bad ADR for all the profanity.
Someone just messaged in the chat, Andrew, you are literally reverse engineering cable. That's cable. And then someone goes, that's such a bad idea.
I mean,
yeah, but you guys didn't hear the part where I said there's no ads. You fools. You fucking fools. Wait till the random button comes along and you're going to be like, God, that's great.
I don't care.
But no, I understand though. Like, I understand that, like, because even if you have a random button, it's still an entirely self-imposed, self-regulated system.
Yeah,
like, you have to personally commit to, like, you can still choose to put something else on. And like, I think having that possibility there is always going to make it kind of imperfect.
But I mean, with that logic, then it's like, okay, well, you hit the power button on the remote, so self-imposed, you fucked up. Like, you're at cable there, you know?
Exactly. My point is that if it's an arbitrary viewing experience one way or another, I think it's more fun. I think the old cable setup is more fun, where And that's what I see. I don't care if I'm reverse engineering cable, because I think that cable is better than having a bunch of terrible Netflix shows to choose from that I can personally choose to click and watch. Like if it's all bad, then it might as well be in a forced random order as well as being.
But so that's what
well
I'm
as
saying
being
is like
bad.
you make the surf button and it's the same thing as cable except there's no ads.
Well, right.
Like that's what makes cable bad is the ads. In my opinion,
I think that the chat is implying that there are more reasons.
there
I
is
can't
none.
possibly
And if this
think-
chat tries to argue otherwise, you guys are fools. And I'll say it again. If you think there's more bad things than commercials on cable, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool.
The worst thing about cable is that it's really, really expensive
That's
to
true.
get anything good. Like
Yeah, the worst part about
it-
cable
it-
is what you pay for it.
every channel that you want is bundled in with like 300 other bullshit channels that no one would ever want to watch, but there's no granular control over what content you actually want to be
I can't believe
exposed
these
to.
kids are what are these kids on right now?
And
I'm
some
looking
people
at this
like the
chat.
commercials.
These kids all sound like a bunch of old people. Has
what's
the
crazy
world
is, like,
gone that
I
far
feel
the other
like,
direction? Are you guys all old? You're not kids anymore.
What's
You're just old people?
What's crazy is like I feel like I need to talk to more Gen Z people just to confirm this, but I feel like we're at a point now where there's like an entire generation of kids who probably have never watched cable.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then me pitching them the greatest idea ever, cable with no commercials. They should be foaming at the mouth, and now they're calling me a fool.
Even me, like, who I remember the tail end of the 90s, but I only watched cable until, like, even me, the cable tapered off pretty early in my development.
It sounds like everyone in chat has pretty much seen cable, and I think it's like if a young person is choosing independently, it's less likely, but as a family choice, it's probably still pretty prevalent. Like parents would still be having cable even in 2021.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Maybe.
Netflix really should add that button. Like, I would do a surf button for sure, because I like the random button, but I do like the idea of being able to start midway through a movie randomly. And then if you don't like it, you just click randomize again, and boom, you're at cable. And then if you're like, oh, well, now I want to choose something that I like, then you can actually just go choose it, right?
But to me, that's what terrifies me. Like, I hate the feeling of being indecisive about media, because that's just... For me, like I fucking hate cable, but I understand what Will is saying in the sense that having that constant, infinite choice is like really stifling, in terms of like just being able to engage and enjoy something or
Randomly.
just
Yeah, I get that. Like I
well,
love
not
having, like,
randomly, but just not even. It doesn't even have to be random, but the idea of being able to engage with something and have that just be the choice of what you're watching. And that's it. Like, you don't have to, because I've noticed if I start a movie on streaming, the first like 20 minutes of the movie, even if it's a really good movie, my brain is thinking like, is this the right choice? Is this the thing I want to be doing with my
that's a good
time?
point.
Here's another movie I could have been watching, and like I get super
That's a really good point. Yeah,
insecure about it.
Is wild because like I just came up with this idea called the surf button, where like you just hit it and then you don't have to worry about
Right,
that
but
anymore.
No, but you can always opt out of that though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
when
Like
the surf
surfing
button
means
is one option among also being able
Oh,
to
so
select
you're
every
saying the
movie.
app should just be surf.com and you click it, and if it's either good or you quit, is what you're saying.
well, no, but
That's the only
surfing is what I like patently don't want to do. Like I don't want to be in a situation
But
where
you
I'm
just told
hopping.
me you don't want to pick.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I want to have a situation where I'm forced to commit to something and there's no possibility of me hopping from thing to thing.
Right. That's
Right.
why this new app that I just came up with called surf.com, it's just you go to it and it's just
But
one button.
It's just a
What do
stream.
you think that surfing is? It's hopping from thing to thing. That's what it means.
Yeah,
well,
well,
no,
he's-
that's the beauty of the app is there's only one thing to hop through.
Yeah, Andrew.
But then that's
Andrew
not
is-
surfing.
Yeah, he's calling it surf, but really he just means a channel.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great
just-
name for it.
That's just cable.
Yeah, but there's no commercials.
There's only one channel.
It's called
So
it's
you're-
called www.achannel.com. There's no
So-
commercials and you have no choice.
So you're proposing
once you click it, your browser locks you for 45
So
minutes.
you're proposing just TV in 1973.
I'm proposing TV
where
with
there's
no
one thing on
commercials,
TV.
and if you try to close your computer, it like fries the CPU. You're locked in.
You have to watch it. Yeah.
No.
Well, so that's why I like going to the video store. Is that there are choices of what you want to watch.
Yeah.
Well, even like there's actually like a shit ton of stuff there, but it's like once you pick something, that's your watch for that week or however long it is, and then you have to like I find I like engage way more with stuff on that basis where I have to pick something and then I have to fucking watch it, and there's no thought process of like being able to back out, you know.
Yeah, and I think even the process of picking something when you're at a video store or looking through the TV Guide channel, for me at least, that process is more enjoyable than when I'm just sitting at my computer scrolling through a streaming service.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because it's just like, if I'm already at the computer plenty, I don't need to just do the exact same thing when I'm want to be in a watching mode. Anyways, yeah. But I was going to say I also like the ads because then if you watch a certain channel for, a few hours, they will show you the same ad every single break.
Dude.
And whether you want to engage with that thing or not, you're going to know about it.
Right.
I kind of like that. Because
So you would love A channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love Well, I like having a few channels.
We'd have a partner website called A Few Channels. Yeah, but just singular still, afewchannel.com.
It's just the thing that you guys are talking about. It just is TV in the 70s.
Well, maybe they weren't wrong. Maybe they were onto something.
I mean, I almost agree. I almost think that is better.
Yeah.
I like A channel, and honestly, A Few Channel sounds pretty fun too.
So what was being advertised? When was this? It was 2 weekends ago. At every commercial break was Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Wow.
Did you guys know they have a new Clifford movie out?
I had heard of it. Yeah.
Well,
what?
You would have heard about it plenty if you had watched Nickelodeon anytime in the past.
Is it
week and a
CGI?
half.
CGI dog?
It's a CGI realistic red dog, giant red dog with a human cast. I mean,
like
realistic,
it's not like cartoonish. It's like
not cartoonish.
meant to
Like,
look
it
like a
looks
dog.
like a real
And the
dog
movie
that's
is
4
shot-
stories tall.
The movie is shot with a color palette that looks like a Middle Eastern war movie.
What?
Everything is completely drained of color. Clifford looks like he's covered in blood. And they didn't even model him right. So when he starts off as a normal-sized puppy, but they didn't model the puppy right, so they just made a tiny adult dog. It looks so fucking bad.
I like that.
We ended up actually watching it because we saw some of the ads for it. But
Do you realize what you just said?
That's a
You
sort
just
of
went on a
experience.
3-minute tirade about how bad this movie looked, and then you nonchalantly said you watched it.
I found out how bad it is because I watched it. But that's the sort of experience I never would have had if without cable.
Oh my god. A channel really got you. You're the perfect candidate for A channel.
Well, no, I'm not, because A channel doesn't have commercials.
Well, A channel might
A-Channel
just be
Plus.
a commercial.
A channel Plus
A-Channel
is the,
Plus
the version
more.
with commercials.
Yeah. That is
What's
so
on
funny.
what's on Nickelodeon these days?
What
Or Nicktoons or whatever you said it was.
I know Rugrats.
Like what was on when
at
you
some
were
point.
watching
Wait,
it?
like the old Rugrats or a new Rugrats?
It was old Rugrats,
Oh, that's
but it
good.
was like the last season of the old Rugrats, so they were kind of running out of things that babies could do by that point.
That was a great show.
Babies are like, we've done everything a baby can do. We've
Pretty
got to
much.
do the grown up now.
Wait, so they are just playing old Nickelodeon cartoons on the normal Nickelodeon now?
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow,
Like,
that's
they-
wild that
Oh,
they just haven't come up
as
with anything new,
Okay, new stuff. They've got a SpongeBob spinoff.
which is what?
It's called Camp
Squidward?
Coral.
Oh.
It's them as young children. They've
Huh.
got another SpongeBob spinoff. It's called The Patrick Star Show. It's just about Patrick.
Wow. They really milked that one, huh?
I'm pretty sure they either have a third SpongeBob spinoff, or they're still running the original series. But 90% of what they show is SpongeBob right now.
I mean,
That's
it's
about
popular.
where it was when I checked out of watching Nickelodeon.
God,
That's
it's
about where I
crazy.
left
they
it.
They really haven't come up with much new stuff in a long time. Like I
No.
feel like when
Well,
we
They
were
still do
officially
slime.
I mean, think about where cable is right now.
Yeah, it's true.
Like-
do they do slime still? So that's a good point.
I saw no slime.
No slime. Wow.
I saw ads for these little like pellet things that you put your feet in, and it's kind of like slime adjacent, where they're these little goo pellets that I can only imagine are going to get lost and sucked up by the vacuum.
But is it like a commercial for slime pellets?
It was a commercial for these. Well, it wasn't slime. It was just it was as close as I saw to a slime.
What was their function? What's the function of the pellet?
Just to have fun and put your feet in some weird shit.
Why does it have to be it's not your hands?
I guess you could put your hands in.
But they advertise it as you putting your feet in it.
Yeah, it's like a foot massage, and like you put it so it shows you sticking your feet in, and they've got an Orbeez. It's called Orbeez, Orbeez.
Someone knows.
Someone
what that
says
is.
I wanted them so bad. Someone else says they're a nightmare.
Okay, can someone in the chat explain in great detail, like a paragraph, what an Orby is?
This looks like Dippin' Dots that you're not supposed to eat.
Exactly.
But why do you put your feet in them?
Well, because you can't eat them.
Why not? But can't you put your hands in them?
I think that you can't. I think that Orbeez are an all-purpose toy, and this was specifically branding them as you can also use them to massage your feet.
I see. Okay.
Oh, someone in the chat just mentioned they only know of them. They only know of them because they're in ASMR videos. I just realized I have seen them in because they make like a weird like squelchy noise when you put them in like a bag. I don't really like those particular videos, but I have seen those.
This whole product is weirding me out.
Well,
It is a little
Why do you
bizarre.
put them in a bag?
Well, you're not supposed to, but people that make ASMR videos kind of
confused.
jury rig them to be in a bag so you can make like weird Foley audio effects with them.
yeah, that's how the ad ended. They said, "Don't put them in a bag."
You're not supposed to put them in a bag.
Remember, 4 feet only.
What? Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
this.
Gremlins.
I don't like
like this?
Nickelodeon at all. A channel should really be replacing Nickelodeon.
So I saw Clifford. I saw about half of what is it? Polar Express.
Oh, the
Oh
animated one?
man.
The Tom
Robert
Hanks. They're still doing that.
Zemeckis, director of Back to the Future.
Oh, really?
Then went on
And
to make Polar
Forrest
Express.
Gump, I think.
And Forrest Gump, yeah.
Was it any good?
You haven't seen Polar Express?
No, I read the book.
Man, that's the sort of thing that they always put on in school when it's just like no more class.
They
Just
just put on-
last day before Christmas break. They just put on this
Put on Polar
terrible
Express.
mocap movie. It's just like constant stress. It's just a bizarre movie.
Is it true to the book? Have you read the book?
No, it's not true. Well, the book is like 12 pages long or something.
It's a short book. That's probably why I read it. Yeah, it's short.
I don't think it has any dialogue even.
The book?
Yeah, I think it's just like pictures.
The movie.
Yeah.
Wait, the book has dialogue in it for sure.
Hey chat, what do we think about Polar Express, the book? Did it have dialogue or was it just pictures and descriptions?
What do you mean pictures? Are we thinking of the?
It's a picture book.
Are we? No, we're thinking of something else.
Well, I
are you
always
thinking
assumed it
of,
was.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something with a compass in it. What's it
yeah,
called? With a polar bear.
Golden Compass.
Golden compass. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Polar Express.
That
is a
book has
children's book.
dialogue. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the Golden Compass. That was a great book. They should have made a movie about that.
They did. I think it was bad. I haven't seen it. Polar Express is just a very strange movie. It was Robert Zemeckis was just getting obsessed with mocap, and it was like, you can do anything. You can get Tom Hanks, and he can be flipping off the walls and just running across the top of a train. And
Tom Hanks ran across the top of a train in Polar Express.
yeah, that's one of the many things that happens. But there's something going on like that, like every 30 seconds in that movie. It's extremely stressful.
Huh.
It's just like they have to keep inventing new things to stress you out. Like the
Yeah.
elves are like, they got a giant bag of toys that they're flying with a helicopter to Santa, but then the bag of toys knocks over a star on the top of this giant Christmas tree. The star is gonna plummet to Earth and crush all these little elves. Everyone's running and screaming, and they get these like SWAT elves down, and they're flying down to
Ooh.
grab.
I mean, what you're saying right now sounds great. Sounds like an action movie.
You should watch the Polar Express. That's
Wow.
the movie for you.
Do you think it's going to be on A Channel tonight?
I definitely think it's going to be on A Channel. Yeah.
Because the thing is, the beauty of A Channel is once I start watching the movie, I'm in.
If we had cable, you would be able to see Polar Express within the week. I promise you that.
Oh wow.
I guess you could also just open up your computer and stream it.
But that's too stressful. I don't want to pick
that's too
something.
stressful.
I want it to be fed to me.
Yeah, you
forcefully.
want it to just happen.
Yeah.
I've never actually watched the entirety of Polar Express, but the only part of it I've seen is I've just watched the Hot Chocolate song on YouTube, and it just escalates to such a degree that like something as simple as serving hot chocolate to a train car of children turns into this like, it's like you have the waiters are like doing these weird like pirouette backflips off the sides of a train car whose ceiling is only about 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
And so they're doing all this weird circus shit under like a really low clearance ceiling, and it just is like, it kind of like gives you a headache to watch it because it's just so over engineered kind of.
It's kind of like an uncanny valley of like not just facial appearance, but like the actual action is uncanny valley.
It's like meant to be photorealistic, but also portraying stuff that's patently impossible.
Yeah, impossible to do.
But with photorealistic actors, which is just really because they just start to look like animatronic puppet people.
Yeah, it's like where you see something in a real movie that's obviously CGI, basically.
And the song is like 3.5 minutes long, but there's only like one line in the whole song.
Right.
It is just going, "Hey, we got it.
Right.
Hey, we got it. Hey," and he just finds every possible. It's almost like an acting exercise where he finds every possible inflection of that one line.
I guess I was written for this movie.
I think all the music was original. I just realized Robert Zemeckis is the same guy that did that other creepy CGI people movie, Welcome to Marwin, a couple of years ago.
Call,
he just seems to be really. He just seems to be really stuck on that particular. Yeah.
I think he even tried to get a Yellow Submarine together. That was a mocap Yellow Submarine.
What?
Just like the same as the original animated movie, but in mocap. But it's just like the sort of thing, like if you were to redo Polar Express and have it force it to be all live action where it's practical stunts, it'd probably be a pretty cool movie. Like you'd just have a lot of cool dancing and cool action stuff. But getting rid of the challenge of staging everything for real is just like why does it exist? What is there to dream about once you have elves flying and breaking the rules of gravity to grab a giant tree topper? I don't know.
Well, it's like when I think of Polar Express, I maybe I shouldn't say this because I haven't actually seen it, but in my mind, I always kind of, the cultural context that my mind kind of puts it in is like, it's like sort of the Cats of its day in terms of just being this like really offensively uncanny kind of like terrifying monstrosity of just bad calculation.
Yeah, although I'll give modern viewers credit that I think Cats is universally reviled, whereas I feel like Polar Express like had a fair amount of people who were into it.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a lot more kind of warmly received, at least at the time. Yeah. I don't know how. My roommate and I were just talking about the Robert Zemeckis A Christmas Carol, which was made like I feel like just a few years after, which was like exactly the same type of movie,
right? With
this like really ugly photorealistic. Well, it's photorealistic CGI except for Scrooge, who is this like horrible like troll creature. Like he's really stylized in a really grotesque way, but everyone else is like really realistic looking, and so you get the extra uncanniness of his character being.
Is it Jim Carrey playing him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Are we still talking about Polar Express? What's going on?
No, so Robert Zemeckis also made a version of A Christmas Carol.
So
Just
Robert
a few years
Zemeckis
later,
really just lost his fucking mind. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, he got into the big mocap money.
God,
Someone paid him a lot of money to sponsor mocap.
I'd like to put on a mocap suit. Give that a shot.
Give Zemeckis a call.
I'd like to make a One Trade Danger live action mocap film
I wouldn't.
directed by Zemeckis.
That's how it would happen if it happened.
It would be so good.
Someone asks in the chat if I've seen Monster House. I have, I think. That's the one they always show on Cartoon Network. It's about the house.
Was that also a Zemeckis movie?
No, I don't think so. I think that was actually good though.
Yeah, because I
It's
remember
just-
that movie being a good movie.
Yeah, it just had weird animation, but it's entertaining. So yeah, we represent Monster House here.
Never heard of
This
it.
house.
Andrew hasn't seen it yet, well,
What animation studio was it? Because it wasn't one of the like big three.
I
like
think it was like a random smaller studio that ended up making it.
Someone asked about Neverending Story a while ago.
Have you? I haven't seen that actually.
What? Oh, it's a great movie. You'd like it.
I haven't seen
It's
it
a
either.
classic. What?
I
Oh
guess-
man, Neverending Story is great.
Do we have our next movie?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think Neverending Story's got to be the next one. Atreyu, you never heard that name? Classic character.
Why would I know the?
That's not the
character
Dream
if I haven't
Dragon,
seen
is
the
it?
movie?
No, Atreyu's the boy in the story. He's the boy that I can't say anymore because I'm gonna start giving away spoilers. Don't even read the chat because these kids are gonna give it away.
Okay.
You gotta
I do
watch it.
remember having a videotape that had a trailer for the Neverending Story 3 on it,
Nah,
which
you-
I
just the
watched
first one.
hundreds of times. But the thing is, prominently featured in that trailer is Jack Black in like a leather jacket as like a bully, and I don't know, that was pretty entertaining. I've never seen the movie. I'm assuming it's like bad, but the idea of
The three. Jack.
in
Black is
Neverending Story 3.
Okay.
A young Jack Black playing this like he kind of looks like a skinhead or something, but like this like super mean looking high school bully. I'm assuming this is pre-fame Jack Black, but
Interesting. I didn't know he was a younger actor.
I didn't know there was 3.
I think he was
Neverending
actually
Stories.
I think
Well,
he
they're
was
all
actually
parts
like a
of one
child actor
Neverending
or
story.
something.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess technically they have to just keep making Neverending Stories.
They just show you
Well,
pieces of the never-ending story.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Right.
But yeah, the first one is great. Like, the story's good already. The acting's actually surprisingly good. And then also, like, the world that they build is really cool. And it's like, this is pre-CGI stuff. So, like, there's probably a little bit of, like, old movie CGI, some, like, Star Wars type CGI shit. But, like, most of the characters are, like, real, tangible, like, made in an art studio type
Yeah,
thing.
they're like puppets and stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool, and like it just adds to it. I don't know, maybe that's just my old childhood nostalgia, but like the CGI that they're doing these days, just,
No.
it feels too fake.
No,
Everyone,
practical effects are superior, flat
I
out.
think everyone wants to see that. It's just movie studios aren't willing to hire people who will do that.
Yeah, well, and there's some things
Well-
you just can't do. Like,
A big deciding factor is that all of the practical effects, because those trades are like older and more entrenched in the industry, all of those people are like part of unions, and it's way easier to just grab a bunch of like 20-year-old. I
Right.
feel like I'm disparaging a bunch of CGI artists right now, but like
yeah,
a bunch
these
of
just
young
fucking
CGI artists that
talentless
you can
hacks.
just dump dozens and dozens of bodies on those CGI projects, and it's
Right.
like
Who don't
easier
even
from
want
a
to be? Yeah, they don't even want to be working on them, but it's just like
Yeah.
the job that they get. Okay, so
It's-
it just got lost on the chat, but Sister Slug said Amblin Entertainment, which is Steven Spielberg's studio, produced Monster House, and they made it, and it was produced by Zemeckis. So that's why we're talking about Monster
Oh,
House.
okay. That I knew there was some connection.
so Zemeckis fucked that one up too.
No, he didn't fuck that one up
Oh, okay.
No, Monster House is a good movie from what I remember.
because he
Oh,
didn't
I thought he
direct
lost
it.
his mind.
It's good because he didn't direct
Yeah,
it.
he can still produce movies. He just can't direct.
Oh, because I heard he lost his mind on the mocap scene.
Well, yeah, but you can still produce when you have no mind. It's just you just give money to people.
Yeah, like what is a movie producer?
Well, they just
like I understand like a music producer. That one makes sense.
It's a totally different role. Like a movie producer is more like someone on a label would be for a musical project.
Like
if you're working for a label and you like scout out the band and maybe you give them a certain suggestion for an album to create or like a song to perform,
and then like $10 million
and the money to do it, that would be more in the zone of what a movie
production
does.
Music production sounds hard.
Well, it gets slippery too, because like producer can often be like an honorary title. So like from movie to movie, the specific responsibilities of a producer can be like wildly different. Like I feel like
fair.
generally speaking, a producer is usually like the liaison between the movie and the greater like studio apparatus.
Right.
Like they're sort of the go-between between the bigger industry machinery and the personnel on a specific project. But then sometimes an actor will be given a producer credit purely as an honorary title because it entitles them to like a certain percentage of the movie back end, where like they have no real responsibilities, but the title is given to them as like a perk.
Right. Yeah, like a producer is where like if the movie goes really wrong in the production stage, then they're on the line with the money basically. So like, if it's a studio funding a movie, then the producer doesn't have to be involved. They can just give money to other people and hope that it gets done. But then if it does not get done, it's on them.
Well, and if the studio wants something to be a certain way, the producer is usually the voice of the industry saying, hey, we've got to cut this, or they're the voice of the sort of industry apparatus that interacts with the people on the movie. Like they're the one that has to sit down with the director and say, hey, that we have to cut this sex scene or whatever.
Yeah. Someone else in the chat had asked about the Beatles documentary. I've watched part 1, part of part 2, and I think it's good. I'm glad that they're putting it out. I don't think no one else here has watched it, have they?
No, I haven't.
I haven't. I have been wondering though, because I know Peter Jackson did it. Is Peter Jackson just going to be like, is he just turning into like a documentary guy now? Because I don't think he's done like a movie in a long time.
I mean, I have no idea. From what I've heard, this took him like 4 years. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a one-off. Has he done other documentaries?
Well, just before this, he did like a World War I documentary that I did see.
Yeah,
but I haven't I haven't heard of any like narrative film projects from him in a long time.
Yeah, in the interview I saw with him, he just said, he's gonna do what he wants to do, and he wanted to make Lord of the Rings, so he made Lord of the Rings, and then he wanted to make a Beatles documentary, so he did that.
So he did the Beatles one. I didn't know that.
He put it together. I mean, he obviously the footage,
he couldn't have filmed
the footage
it,
had already been shot. But
I heard there was a big revelation in this documentary that turns out Ringo wrote most of the tracks. Is that true?
Yeah.
Interesting. Any thoughts on that, Seth?
I thought you were gonna say that talk about Ringo's island phase.
Oh well, I mean no one wants to talk about that.
We were listening to some Beatles outtakes in the car at one point, and Andrew just started complaining about Ringo's island phase because they were what was it?
He brought too many cabasas into the mix. Like he clearly went somewhere where like that instrument was used heavily as a percussive instrument, and then he was like, okay, well every beat I do from here on out it's gonna have cabasa, like, and it's always panned like all the way to the sides, like all the way to the right, like so asymmetrically too, and it just sounded so bad. We're listening to it in the car, we're like panning, you can really hear panning. It was just like the worst shit ever. And I'm like, okay, island phase Ringo, they should have fired him from the band, honestly.
Yeah, so can you give us the rundown of Beatles history from your perspective?
Well, okay, I'll start from the beginning. They were young chaps that met in high school and didn't go to college and worked at local bars and clubs practicing their trade playing covers. And then Ringo secretly wrote the hit Eleanor Rigby, which launched them into
I thought it was Yesterday.
Well, that comes next.
Oh, okay.
Launched them into super fame, followed by the song Yesterday, which cemented them as the world's all-time greatest rock band. And then he took a trip.
Oh my God. At this point, they've written 2 songs without any drums or really any band arrangements at all.
Nope.
Just
Yep.
as
exactly.
2
Exactly.
songs with
Well,
guitars
but
and
then there was that
strings.
one song that was sort of the sleeper that was like dom dom digga ding, and that was like Ringo's best beat ever. But no one really thought much of that track. And then he goes to God, I don't know, fucking some island off the coast of the Caribbean,
Right.
and comes back with a homemade cabasa, and the band is like, Ringo, what are you doing? And he's like, trust me, guys, you know I could take you guys far in this business. I took you this far. And they're like, okay. He's like, hey, engineer, pan this all the way to the right, and then it's a little further if you can. And the engineer's like, what do you mean a little further than all the
They
way?
had to build new equipment for that.
Yeah, and he was like,
it's pretty revolutionary.
Exactly. He's like, what did I just say? He fired that guy, brought the next guy in who's like, I can build that for you. Your dream can come true. And then they put out an album which had like, I don't know, 7 of the worst songs ever written by man. And it had Cabasa on every track panned far right or far left. So bad that it like hurt. And it was turned up way too loud. And the treble was through the roof. So it scratched your eardrum when you listened to it. And then that's when John Lennon got killed.
Right. Well, but they recalled that album. So like there's no official, you can't talk about that album anymore.
Oh, it didn't get released?
Well, they released it and then they pulled all the copies.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
And
because
then
the
they
band members
refused to acknowledge its existence.
Right. So that's pretty much where the Beatles stand now. And then, you know.
Right, so this documentary is about the making those 7 worst albums in history.
Yep.
Or
How it came
worst
about.
songs.
How it happened. Yep, exactly. They've had a rough career.
3 good songs though.
3 absolute well, 2 and a sleeper, but you know, it's a pretty good run.
So it's a sleeper because it's not good.
Well, it's a good song. It just didn't go anywhere. You know, the one that goes dum dum ticka dum ticka ticka.
Well, but you said you downgraded from 3 good songs to 2 because one of them was a sleeper.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's a pretty good song, but
Right.
like globally, it's
okay.
regarded as a pretty bad one.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they gave it their all. They gave it a shot, a good shot. You know, not every band can make more than 2 good songs. It's hard to do.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's why they made the movie Yesterday to
Right.
to indicate that the people that everyone thought were writing the Beatles songs were not the real writers.
Yep.
It was
Exactly.
Ringo.
I mean, Ringo. I mean, talk about a talent. The guy comes out of nowhere and creates a rock band from the ground up, not even knowing how to play the drums. Might I add?
Well,
It's
yeah,
incredible.
that's why he only wrote Eleanor Rigby and Yesterday.
Eleanor Rigby was a great song.
No drums.
It's an absolute. I mean, yeah, because he only knows how to clap. I watched a part of the documentary. He's just clapping the whole time. He doesn't even know how to play the drums.
The song Blackbird is a great song. You know my favorite part about it? No drums.
Yeah, honestly, he struggles to clap too, based on what I remember from the documentary. He claps. He claps with the back of his hands together, not the palms.
Well, it's a different sort of sound that you get.
Yeah, well, I mean that's.
Yeah, it's a different kind of timbre, you know.
And then when he was going through his island phase, he refused to
Yeah,
clap.
I mean,
He literally
people-
would not clap.
Like people who say that he just didn't know how to clap, they don't know the first thing about clapping.
That's true. Honestly, most people don't know the first thing about clapping. Most people are really bad at clapping, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
And that's actually true.
It's actually true. Did I watch anything else?
Yeah, but I mean, you
Oh,
said
I
you watched
watched.
a lot of stuff.
I guess I watched all of Spider-Man 3. I'd never seen that before.
There's a third Spider-Man.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire goes emo basically.
He's in the third one.
Well, yeah, this is the Tobey Maguire series.
Oh,
Spider-Man.
I thought there was only one Toby.
Oh no, there's 3.
Oh, what? The first Toby was great. Did you see the second one?
I have a long time ago. I haven't seen any of them in a while, but I had never seen 3.
Was it good?
It was pretty good. It was one of those things that's just like, wow, a superhero movie where most of the effects are practical. Like,
what? In a Spider-Man movie? There's no way.
Maybe not all the effects, but the majority of the shots. I mean, now we're used to the Marvel.
Oh God, yeah, I hate that.
The Marvel
blue
style
screen background.
of every single shot is going to have at least 50% CG in it.
It's brutal.
In not so in Spider-Man. Spider-Man,
That's
most
good.
of the shots are just real people.
That's great.
With real problems.
Real people, real problems. Spider-Man 3.
Early James Franco pick too.
Wait. James Franco is the villain in Spider-Man 3?
He's the bad guy in like all 3 of them, I guess. Well, he's like a fledgling bad guy.
Right, because the number 1, the bad guy was what's that weird?
Willem
name?
Dafoe.
Goblin.
Yeah, Willem
Willem
Dafoe.
Dafoe.
And then 2.
His son is James Franco.
So I've seen 2 then,
Okay, yeah.
because I've seen Franco as the villain. Well, he starts as his friend and then becomes the villain,
Right.
right? Yeah. I've seen 2 then. No, so what happens in 3?
Just a bunch of different shit.
Just like Spidey
Like,
stuff.
well, Venom.
Oh, this was the Venom one?
This was the Venom one. So, yeah, Peter gets a black suit and he gets a little edgier. But then he loses it and Venom attaches to someone else and then that guy's the villain. But then there's also James Franco and then there's also another guy too. So there's a lot of villains.
But there's been like 10 Spider-Mans since then.
There's been a lot since then. I mean, there's been a lot of superhero.
It's over the top. There's too much superhero stuff. Ant-Man, that should not be a movie. No one.
I
should be
love
making
how
an
much I like take so much pleasure from how much Ant-Man specifically like really grinds your gears.
It really well. It's just because I had a triggering moment. Like my buddy Eliav comes over and he's potheads. He's making us all smoke a bunch of weed. We're all super high. He's like, "Okay, guys, check this out. Fucking great movie, Ant-Man." And we're like, "What? Are you fucking kidding me? You're about to put on Ant-Man?" He's like, "No, seriously. The plot, it goes deep. It's super good." And then he puts it on, and we watched the fucking whole thing. And I was like, it hurt my heart. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it, but like it was so bad it hurt my heart to watch. Like I felt like I was getting heart palpitations.
Yeah, it was like an affront. Yeah.
That's not just the weed talking. It was like such a bad movie. I couldn't even begin. And I like Paul Rudd too. I like the guy. But I think
Everybody
that
likes
should've
Paul
ended-
Rudd. Yeah.
That should have ended his career. It was so bad. I couldn't believe it.
I just in my mind's eye, I picture you like being mad because it's like they've run out of heroes with like cool shit to do, so they have to do like a guy that can just get really small.
Yeah.
And it's just being like that's not helpful.
Like this superhero we're all looking up to is a guy that can turn into an ant. Like what the are you?
Well,
kidding
he doesn't
me?
turn into an ant. He just he just becomes the size of an
Oh,
ant.
well, maybe I was that high. I thought he grew a bunch of fucking legs and
No,
just became
no,
an
no.
ant.
But I mean, it's almost as good as being an ant, right?
Yeah, you might as
You
well.
know, I actually saw a movie a couple weeks ago by Sam Raimi, who did the original Spider-Mans. He did his own superhero movie like 10 years prior, like in 1990, called
Yeah.
Darkman, and I thought it was really fucking cool. Like it's a character that he just made up. It's not like a big franchise character.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, it's played by Liam Neeson before he was famous, and it's a guy that like is injured in an accident where he is basically like the Phantom of the Opera. His face is all like fucked up and he's covered in like bandages, kind of like the Invisible Man, and he can disguise himself as anybody but only for 24 hours, and then his face like melts, and it honestly doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It feels like a dark like opera. It's very like tragic.
Yeah. Well, what
but it's
happened-
also kind of
What happened to
it's
that?
also kind of goofy. It just became like a cult thing. Like it wasn't really a huge. I think it was financially successful, but it wasn't because it wasn't like an established character. You know, it wasn't like a big mega hit. It was just something that Sam Raimi like made up.
Gotcha.
But Frances McDormand is in it, and Liam Neeson's in it, and like I thought it was fucking great.
I like Liam Neeson.
I would dare say that it moved me.
I haven't seen a bad Liam Neeson movie. I don't think they exist.
Have you seen the Taken movies?
Taken 1. Taken 1 was good.
I shouldn't say that because I haven't seen any of the Taken movies.
Taken 1 was good. I haven't seen the other Takens, so maybe Taken 2 was bad.
What about
I think there's like 12 of them.
What about the one where he's with the wolves? Did you see that?
What? Liam Neeson's a wolf?
No, he's just with wolves.
What does he do?
I think it's called With Wolves. He's just.
I think it was called, what is it, The Gray or something?
Yeah, like he's just in a cold place and there's gonna be wolves. And
Like they're gonna eat him?
Yeah, they're gonna.
I'm just picturing
What do you think the wolves are gonna do with him? You know?
I mean, they could be doing a lot of things. Like maybe they're on his side. Maybe they're trying to help him. Maybe he's like a wolf whisperer.
Well, you know,
maybe
I don't know.
He's
I
trying
don't
to
know.
find his daughter.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Maybe his wolf daughter got
but,
taken and he has
the
to team up with
ads,
wolves.
You know, the ads want you to think that they're gonna eat him.
Oh, okay.
But I guess.
Well, I think it was like it felt like a precursor to The Revenant, where like the whole the kind of selling point tagline was like, "Hey, watch Liam Neeson fight a wolf."
But it was after The
and-
Revenant, wasn't it?
No, it was before,
Oh, really?
and it was like a big awards movie. I feel like in a similar
Oh,
way.
weird. I thought it was like 2018 or something.
It was hang on. I want to say it was like 20. Oh, it was 2011. Holy fuck.
Oh, wow.
That's
But yeah,
pre-Revenant.
seemed like a similar
Yeah,
kind
that
of
is
thing.
pre-Revenant. Prevenant.
Prevenant.
We saw that as a band.
Revenant. Didn't we walk out?
I walked out.
Well, we saw it. You walked out.
Did I finished it?
You finished it. You
I
were mad.
finished it.
You were mad at me for walking out, but you hated it.
I was mad at you for walking out. I respect a walkout. I've walked out before.
I think we all assumed Will was coming back at some point.
Oh,
like, he
maybe
never
that's
did.
why. Yeah, maybe you just didn't tell us you're leaving.
No, I mean,
I think you just left, and we were like, "What the hell?"
what more is there to say? It's the
You
fucking
stand up in
Revenant.
front of the theater and go, "Excuse me, this is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. I'm walking out." And then your friends are like, "Okay, we are."
You go, "Hey, I thought this was The Gray or something."
Right. I'll do that next time.
And then we're like, "Oh, I guess Will doesn't like this movie. That's fine." You know, at least we're informed.
I mean, I didn't feel the need to tell you at the time because I thought I might be the only one who disliked it.
Oh, and you didn't want that.
I didn't
shame.
want to hamper anyone's fun.
I see. That's fair. I know. I really didn't like it, and honestly, it made me even more mad that he won some dumb award for it.
Right.
Because like he's acted in such better movies and acted so much better in other movies,
Right.
and then he wins an award for. It's like,
That's how it works.
yeah,
It's
you win an
just
award
like-
because you get your guts ripped out
get the
by a
hype.
bear.
It's the hype year.
Well,
So
it's like that type of acting where it's like, I'm screaming and crying and rolling around in the mud, which is not really, it's not like hard to do, but
Right.
it's like popular from an Academy standpoint is like, wow, that's so brave of you to do that.
I mean, I honestly think that it was just like, oh, I like Leo DiCaprio. He's acted well in other movies, and now it's like this big serious movie that he's in. So we'll give him the award this time. But it's like it was obviously based on his past performances more.
Yeah,
than
it was one of those meta awards where it was like an award given belatedly for like in recompense for not giving it for some other thing. In a similar way to like someone will die and they'll get an award because they died.
I'm pleased to see people in the chat who don't know what The Revenant is.
Of course they don't. No, it was a sleeper.
It
It
was-
was like
it
it
was
was
not
a
a
total
sleeper at the
Beatles
time.
sleeper.
I don't think you know what the word sleeper means.
Yeah, you watch it or listen to it, and it puts you right to fucking sleep. No one likes it.
Eleanor Rigby, total sleeper.
No, Eleanor Rigby wasn't a sleeper. Everyone loved that song, but he made some other sleepers.
A sleeper means that basically underrated. Like it
Like a
comes
late
out-
bloomer.
Yeah, it
Well,
comes
I
out.
mean,
Not a lot of
I
people are
mean-
into it, and then like 2 years later, it starts getting popular.
Tomato. I
I don't think so.
mean, sleeper. I fell asleep watching that movie. I don't even remember what happened in The Revenant.
That's a fall asleeper.
No, it was a sleeper. It's a snoozer. You know what I mean?
Revenant was very popular at the time, but I don't think it had a lot of legacy legs.
Ratboy721 says it was for sure not a sleeper. We got a huge Revenant fan here, everybody. This guy absolutely loved Revenant. You probably gave Leo the award. We've got the Grammys in the chat today.
You mean the Academy?
No, he got a Grammy.
The
He was
Grammys.
singing. He was singing
He-
like a
he
canary
got
when
it,
that bear was ripping
he-
him apart.
He got a Grammy for the original soundtrack album.
He won a Grammy for all that yelling he was doing when that bear was ripping him up.
That was good. I guess that was a period when there were a lot of like big dramatic, serious movies that were basically Oscar bait. I guess that's one trend that I don't mind. I don't. Maybe that's still happening, but I haven't seen.
I think those are still like a constant. Like there's less.
I don't know what
I feel
are
like
now.
I feel like all the sort of mid-level grown-up movies have been pushed out, and the only like non-franchise, non-superhero kind of quote-unquote serious movies that can get made are the super awards courting ones.
But like, what are the examples recently?
Like there was that movie Green Book that won an award.
I
like Green Book.
But that was a few,
Like a lot of
that was,
those-
like 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, movies like that still come out. Like that's
Yeah, I
kind
guess
of every year you get like a batch of movies in that vein.
Green
I guess
Book
I'm
was not
just
a sleeper, though.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of like since COVID, like the whole movie scene has been a little different.
Well, there just hasn't been as many movies.
Yeah,
Period.
so my viewpoint's a little biased.
But someone in this chat said Green Book was a sleeper. Green Book is a great movie. That's not a sleeper.
I have not seen it,
Good.
but I've
Good
heard
movie.
bad things about it.
You heard bad things about Green Book?
Yeah.
Wow, am I in the
I've heard
minority
nothing
then?
but bad things about it. Yeah.
What? Oh, man, I
that's
thought
the
it was
movie
cool.
where isn't that the movie where like the white guy is taking the black jazz musician around?
Yeah. Viggo Mortensen plays this like racist Italian guy or whatever,
Right.
and he becomes like not racist by the end of the movie. You know, I thought it was great.
Right. I mean, I think
the acting was
people-
superb.
people took issue with the lack of historicity of it, basically.
In what way?
Well, I think it was maybe I think it. I would have to look it up again, but I think it was based on. Well, for one thing, it was heavily fictionalized. I think it was also based on the accounts of some dude who was not reliable. Like his accounts.
Oh, is
maybe-
this supposed to be a true story?
Maybe. Well, maybe that was the problem. I think that they were sort of presenting it as
Kind of having
true
it both
story.
ways. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Um,
just complete fiction. I didn't know it was supposed
I-
to be a true story.
I think
Maybe that's why I liked it.
probably it actually was complete fiction.
I mean,
but,
it
um,
had to have been.
I think the argument was that you can just make a movie about the actual black musicians instead of inventing a white guy who's the protagonist.
I see. Yeah.
Um,
I thought it was good though. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I was also looking at it as a complete fiction.
Mhm.
Like I was not assuming any of this was real because
I
like it
think-
was too unrealistic.
I think that was a 10-minute and turn off for me on a plane.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You walked out during a plane movie?
I'll do that.
You just walked out of the plane.
Yeah, I walked out of the plane. On sometimes on flights, I'll just watch 10 minutes of like as many movies as I can on the flight.
I did a 5-minute walkout on Smurfs 2 on a plane.
Right.
Well, so I remember you telling me that there was like a really long flight that we were on where you tried to start Smurfs 2 like 3 times. Like you kept trying it again.
Yeah, because it was a
and
flight.
it kept like
It was a
like
flight to
you just
Europe.
kept failing on it.
It was a flight to Europe, and there were only like 2 movies on the program.
Wait, I gave Smurfs 2 multiple shots?
That's
No
what I
way.
remember you telling me was
Yeah,
that,
I remember
was that
doing that too.
you kept trying it and it kept like you kept
Wow.
failing.
I also remember
I'm
that
a
over and over.
Smurfs super fan.
you confused it with Trolls. So for like the next 5 years, you were talking about what a terrible movie Trolls was, but it was actually Smurfs 2.
But then wasn't
I just-
Trolls supposed to be actually good?
Trolls is a much better movie than Smurfs
Well,
2. That's
I
for
don't
sure.
know. To be honest, at this point, I don't know what I watched or how many times I watched, but I'm pretty sure Smurfs 2 was a 5-minute walkout for me.
But yeah, because I was on like a 12-hour flight, and there were only 3 or 4 movie options.
That,
There was Green Book, Smurfs 2, and Trolls.
Ant-Man.
Okay.
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is not, no. Ant-Man's never being on
I'm
a
pretty
plane.
sure we all tried to watch Smurfs 2 at some point on that.
And
flight.
no one got through it,
No one
right?
got.
I think I was the only one that like didn't even attempt.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say
'cause I
you're the
definitely-
only
I
one that went
definitely
through it and liked it.
Yeah.
I
I've got like a
blasted
blanket
Smurfs.
over my seat and you're like, "Ethan, what are you watching under there?" And I'm like, don't look, and it's.
There's only so many things you can be watching.
I'm watching the new Quentin Tarantino movie. And you're like,
I'm watching the flight tracker status.
I actually watch the flight tracker status a lot.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
I'm a huge flight
It's
tracker
pretty nice to watch.
kind of guy.
I'm a huge flight tracker.
I haven't been on a plane with a video on the back of the seat in a while.
Well, yeah, because we're not traveling much anymore.
Yeah, I guess Alaska doesn't do that very often.
No, I mean they only do that for long ass flights.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I just read just a moment ago that the guy who, sorry to pull all the way back to the Neverending Story, but the guy that did Das Boot did the Neverending Story.
Oh,
What's Das
interesting.
Boot?
Like that was his next movie after Das Boot.
It's a
Das
movie.
Boot's the movie about the Nazi submarine in World War II.
It's like 4 hours long.
I've never even.
Yeah,
heard
it's
of it.
really long.
It's
It's like
kind
a
of an
big
art movie.
it's got a big like award. It's like a
It's
big
got
award.
a big
movie.
award.
It's like
It's got a really
2001.
big award.
It won one.
It's really long, yeah.
That
giant
movie where it's
award.
like a huge sleeper.
No, it just won one giant award.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like the
Yeah.
giant checks that they hand out, but it's an award.
Yeah,
I
they
like
gave
that
it the
part. I
really
had to
big
know more.
Oscar.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like, he's like, she's like, oh, your check will be mailed to you. He's like, no, I'd like one of the big ones that like you can't even cash in at a bank. He just really wants a big one.
Yeah, he just ends up with a stack in his car.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, I haven't seen Das Boot. I've heard about it.
I think we're hitting the 1 hour half mark if we've not passed it already.
Well, we had a good run.
We had a good run. We started with home videos. We made our way through some of the biggest sleepers of all time. Still a debate as to what sleeper means. I think it puts you to sleep. These
We
guys think it.
invented some brand spanking new apps.
Oh yeah,
that are
A
really
channel.
good at-
Like honestly, someone
and
out there needs to make achannel.com
afewchannel.com.
and then afewchannel.com. These are great ideas. These are not sleepers, guys. Get on these. Free ideas. But thank you for watching Family Dinner. It was an absolute blast. And we'll see you next time.
Next time is Neverending Story. I
Neverending
guess.
Story is the next show. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.